This is in relation to what Miss Victoria said earlier. By the way, my name is John, but you can call me Silver. That's the name I
Mhm.
go by in the company. She said that when you are submitting your resume, it needs to be complete and it needs to communicate the significant connection between your abilities and the qualifications for the desired role. And while I totally agree with that, I also believe that you are more than your resume. So, as a hiring manager, what do we assess during interviews? So, one is professional knowledge. And being a nursing graduate or maybe a nursing and undergrad, it's already a given that you have that professional knowledge. Second is job fit. At Shearwater Health, we are actually looking for specific values. We would love to call it ICORE. ICORE stands for integrity, commitment to service and excellence. Of course, there's ownership, respect, and entrepreneurial spirit. What do I mean by entrepreneurial spirit? The spirit or the attitude of always asking, always try to look for things that could improve the process. I remember our COO telling us that while other people tell you that if ain't broken, don't fix it, at Shearwater Health, we say if ain't if it ain't broken, you ought to fix it. Meaning we have to find things to innovate the process. And next is the interpersonal skills. At Shearwater Health, we value long-term relationship with our employees. And so it is important that you have that. It's also important that you have good communication skills, both oral and written. Next is the flexibility. Of course, we are assessing for your job responsibility and how flexible are you with the work schedule, knowing that most of our clients are in the US, most, if not all, are in the US. So, meaning to say, we are most likely working during the night or in the graveyard shift. Next is result orientation. Of course, we want to make sure that the output that we are providing our clients are of quality. Next is the analytical skills and decision making skills. Now, as clinicians, we have this thing called critical thinking skills that we learn at school, and of course, the clinical judgment or the clinical eye. And we need that if you are to apply here at Shearwater Health. Of course, we are looking for leadership skills. And you might ask, I'm still a fresh grad. Then why are you assessing my leadership skills? Well, at Shearwater Health, we are actually enjoying, actually all of the employees are enjoying an ample room of career growth. And we are getting you ready to step up. So last but not the least is your motivation. And like what Ms. Victoria said earlier, that at some point in your career, you will feel tired or stressed. Now, how do you counter that? You always go back to the reason why you applied in the first place. You always try to remember your motivation and what drives you to work. So these are just some of the things that we assess during interviews, and I hope that helps you in in your application, uh, in your job application. So that
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Silver. Wow, that is a really good insight in terms of pertaining the quantities or the qualities that you wanted to have for the candidates, for our young talents, because reminding them that motivation is really important, that is always there, because sometimes motivations are being forgotten, actually, and learning how to counter the stress and frustration is getting back on the foundation or that decision that why did I come to this organization? what are the motivation? Are you working for to gain just to save up for to study more or getting more experience, or a career growth that you wanted to be, I wanted to be a manager 5 years from now? And that is a really good thing to share, Sir Silver. And if I may, I would like to ask Miss Victoria to join us again here on our session, on our speaking session, to answer some few questions from our candidates or our talent. Sir Silver, please don't go. You will be answering as well. So just between the two of you, we'll be putting you also again in the spotlight, just to answer some of the questions that we had that we weren't able to answer earlier. All right. So one of the question is that we have is, do you remember the best candidate interview, and what were the things that make him or her from other candidates? So yeah, what have you do you have an experience interviewing a really good candidate, and what defined him or her the most? So please, it could be Sir Silver or Miss Victoria. Please, I'm sure that the candidate will love some answer.
I don't have any particular memory of a specific candidate, but I do have memories of candidates who speak with through authenticity when they are being interviewed. I have interviewed probably more than thousands of candidates since I started my career in talent acquisition. So as a side job, I also am a life coach. So I kind of gauge if candidates are either lying or just practice what they prepared for during the interview. But what sticks to me are those conversations that I have with candidates. Normally, for initial interviews, we would just really check basic qualifications, communication skills, a little bit of behavior, and we'll leave it up to the hiring manager for the rest in terms of job fit, skill fit, team fit. But for me, I would also look for that authenticity during interview, because I want someone who would be part of the industry, who would have that integrity as well, who would also be true when they do their job. So somehow when they speak and describe what they do or their experience, I would also put in questions that's out of the box. No, it's the 90s. Do you still use out of the box term, kids? But those questions that would make them, kind of be off their sheets and say, oh, I didn't practice for this. But out of the bat, they would think of an answer which I would know that if they're answering it with full of integrity and truth. Because I know those type of people are people that we want to be able to collaborate with. They would be able to bring that as part of their support or service in a team. So that's I think that's one of those memories that I have when I do interviews.
All right, it's really nice to share. It is really good insight in terms of sharing the experience that you had for all those like 16 years of recruitment careers, right? Wow. So how about you, Sir Silver? Do you have an experience, or is any candidate struck the most based on the experience that you have that you still remember, and what can make him different from others?
Well, I actually have this one interview wherein I ask some sort of an odd question. I asked the candidate, what if you are a captain of a pirate ship and you are to tell the pirates, your crew, that all the treasures that you have gathered, that you have ransacked, belongs to you without them killing you, knowing that pirates are barbarians, right? I mean, barbaric and brutal. So how would you manage that? And she told me that in this industry, sometimes you have people that you are leading will have to do the work, and you as a leader will have to take the credit. So how would you tell them without them knowing? You just have to tell them that while you will have to take all the credit, the prestige, the honor, the credit belongs to the whole crew, belongs to the team as well. Because whatever is mine is also yours. Because we are a team,
Mhm.
and the things that we do together matters. I mean, the things that we do together affects each one of us. So
All right.
yeah.
That is a very interesting interview session. I thought that she was going to be answering how they make, but anyway, it's really good to know because sometimes I also have some experience that a recruiter asked me a very interesting question, which is in a way I sometimes also look forward to. It's a question of something that I just wanted to share as well, that they asked me on the last part of the interview way back. Is there any question that do you want us to should have asked you? So in a way, he asked me if there's any question I should have wanted them to ask me. So in a way, I was all right. Is there any? So something like you have to pause. It's very interesting because it's the first time I heard about that in terms of the interview session, and it's really got me interesting. So anyway, thank you so much for all of the stories, all of the insight, or sharing your experience, Mr. Silver, Miss Victoria Alcantara.